Let's begin with Vance. We just played a lot of that public criticism. So take us behind the scenes. How did Trump make the choice to go with Vance? What does that say? And how did he get by all the nasty things Vance once said about him?
Well, we know that he was, Donald Trump had narrowed down his field basically to J.D. Vance, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, and Doug Burgum, the North Dakota governor. He told his sons last week that he was leaning toward his elder sons, Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., that he was leaning toward Doug Burgum. And that is when, according to our sources, they threw a little bit of a fit and told him that he shouldn't pick Burgum. And as one source described it, basically said to him, JD, JD, JD. Over the course of, the last several days, Trump informed Doug Burgum and Marco Rubio that it wasn't going to be them, actually informing them yesterday. And, Rubio had gone to see Trump on Friday. In fact, Trump had conversations with all three of them last week. In the case of Rubio, Rubio himself brought up objections to being vice presidential candidate because he was worried that it might cause legal problems for Trump in terms of the Constitution, saying that electors can't vote for a president and a vice president from the same state. It's complicated stuff. But basically, Rubio went to Trump and said, hey, I know what the problem is. I don't want to be blamed or held responsible for this. I think he knew he wasn't going to get it. Bottom line here, as Kellyanne Conway put it to us, Donald Trump got back to where he started in terms of picking Vance. Now, as far as getting past some of those things that J.D. Vance has said, way back when, Trump likes nothing more than the zeal of a convert. I don't think that's unusual. It would have been impossible for him to find someone, including Rubio and Burgum, who hadn't said bad things about him in the past. In the case of Vance, some of them are pretty bad, comparing him to Hitler, obviously, very, very much in that vein. But, in 2016, J.D. Vance was trying to sell a book. In 2024, he's trying to sell himself as a populist vice presidential candidate. Yeah,
we'll certainly have more on this pick later in the show, but it's a pure MAGA selection, and one that some Democrats think may open the door a little bit and help their ticket. So, John, we've been playing some video here. Donald Trump making this appearance last night at the RNC, his first public appearance since the shooting at the rally, bandage on his ear. Tell us a little bit more about the crowd reaction and just the overall feeling to this point after day one of the RNC.
Yeah, you would always expect any candidate coming into a convention full of the delegates that are pledged to nominate them for the presidency and others who came to witness it who aren't delegates to get a rousing ovation, to get a standing ovation, to have energy and excitement. And then, of course, you pile on top of it the concern that the folks here had for, and many Americans who are not here, had for Donald Trump, with the near, I guess called a near miss, the close call of the assassination attempt on Saturday, and him coming into the arena and pumping his fist, recreating the moment right after a bullet pierced his ear. It was electric inside the arena. These are people who very much love Donald Trump. We're happy to see him safe with the reminder of the bandage on the ear. And in terms of the first day of the Republican convention, otherwise pretty much like you expect conventions to go. People are excited to be here.
All right, NBC's Jonathan Allen live for us from Milwaukee. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk to you again later this week.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.